Shut up and sit down.
To get stuff from me, you have to beat me in a musical battle.
But Jake's the musical one, and he's got Boo Brain.
I don't care.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? How are you guys doing?
Jake, you're back.
Shut your face.
Something strange.
I was working in the lab late one night, when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly to my surprise Matthew Grant,
Sir Ian Gibson.
Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Turing all did the mesh, the Dial podcast mesh. Hey, I tried.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Did you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when he'd put on a dress and play a girl bunny?
No. No.
Neither did I. I was just asking.
Hi, welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I'm Jake Von Turing, here with Lance friggin' Hepler.
Lance friggin' Hepler in-house, in studio.
What's up, mother scratches?
How's it going? I'm back.
PG rating. Thanks for keeping our Disney sponsor.
I tried to keep it PG rating, but don't worry, I'll ruin it later.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yep. To his right,
Wow, that is an intro.
the one and only,
I'm
Sir
upstaged.
Ian
It
Gibson.
does.
Sir
It's-
Ian Gibson. I'm back too. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Sweet. Call that done. And finally, last but not least, the one and only Matt LeGrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys look a little bit tired.
Are you, Matt? You're the tired one.
Self,
I'm feeling great.
you feel chipper?
I feel
You
chipper.
probably drove like straight through the night and feel chipper, and
I
I
drove
like
14
missed
straight hours.
15 minutes of sleep, and I'm like a train wreck. So
I
that's the difference
forgot,
between
I
the two
forgot
of us.
something. Can we start over real quick?
What?
To my right, the one and only Lance Hepler. Everybody had a one and only intro. You didn't.
Oh,
Sorry.
I
One
am
and
not
only.
because I'm not the one and only.
Is there
There's
another one out there?
so many
There's
Lance
so
frickin'
many-
Heplers.
There's too many of them.
Out
Matt.
in the
So many-
in the multiverse, I'm sure there is.
In my own mind.
He's an asshole, sir.
What's his name?
That is his name, sir.
Lance friggin' Hepler.
He's a legend in his own
Sure.
lunchtime.
He's an asshole.
Boys, what you been up to? It's been a minute. You want to backpedal?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Just traveling the world, seeing the sights, I'm just bike everywhere, and
Been snorting some cocaine.
yeah,
Shooting
at
the
the
drugs.
White House.
At the White House. No.
How about we do some backpedaling, Matt? You want to go first?
Sure. I've been on Zwift a little, and
That's too bad.
I know. I trying to think. I'm sure I've biked outside since the podcast has happened. It's been really rainy here. Run outside a couple times. Swam in the pool a couple times. Testing a lot of watches. It's super busy. This is the time where companies all want to get their products out before Christmas, so they dump a whole bunch of products on the market, and you're like, it's going to take me 2 weeks per product to get through these things, and
You should start up like a QVC style channel where it's just like a live feed. You just go in there and you dance around and see what you got. My watch.
What's coming over this way? Let's do this one. Right, 5 minutes, and just the whole thing could just be a live
Price
stream.
is Right theme song going in the background or
I'll just be
something.
like, this is I don't know what this watch is. Yeah.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Especially if you were doing it.
Okay,
Cool.
done.
That it?
Sure.
Gibbo.
It's a good thing that it's been way more than a week since we last got together, because in this last week I have nothing to report.
Really?
However, before that, I did. So I took a trip in my van down to California, drove down the coast, started off here, obviously, Portland area, and drove down the southern Oregon coast, which is beautiful, drove down the northern California coast on Highway 101, and right along by the ocean on Highway 1, which was incredible. Amazing trip. Anyway, it was really good. And then I ended up in Lake Tahoe, where I was visiting some old friends from
cool.
mine.
Did you take bikes with you?
I took my bike.
Did you ride it?
Yeah. The first time I took my bike out was like on day 2, and I parked by this really remote lighthouse thing down there in Northern California. And I got on my bike and I rode about 10 miles, and then I rode over a screw in the road and got an irreparable flat tire, like the furthest distance from the van.
So you were screwed, huh?
Actually, I had a tube. I put the tube in, and the tube held.
Did
But
you have
by
a
the
boot?
time I got back to the van, it had gone down again. So
Oh, no.
I made it.
So I'm gathering you were on the road bike then?
Yeah, on the road bike. And then I rode in Lake Tahoe, which was awesome. I did not ride around the lake. That is apparently a bucket list ride, but
it's 100 miles or something like that.
It's like 78, 80
and the
miles.
Traffic is nasty.
This is what I've heard. It's kind of sketchy.
This time of year, though, it's less traffic, but the weather's probably not going to be so happy or conducive because it's going to be cold. And
the weather was awesome.
Was it?
Beautiful.
Oh,
In
nice.
fact, it was
got lucky.
unlike here. The skies were so clear. Actually, as a matter of fact, we sat down on the beach, North Lake Tahoe, and we looked up and watched the comet in the sky, which is kind of cool.
Oh, so
that's cool.
So you say were you with?
There's some friends I knew from like 40 years ago.
Oh, geez.
Expats like myself, yeah. Anyway, they lived down there. It was good. I rode up to Mount Rose, which was up like close to 9,000 feet.
Okay.
The altitude really got to me. It was noticeably harder. Also, I was still running a tube setup, so I inevitably flatted again.
Oh, geez.
And limped home with no spares, 40 miles to go. So that was kind of nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a good time.
Sweet.
And then since then, been back, watching the rain, going to the gym, getting on Swift.
Cool.
That's all I have.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Good times, Hepler.
What?
You want to backpedal for us?
No, I do not.
What's wrong with you, dude?
Let's make this the most annoying backpedal in history.
Right, hold on a second. Let me hit the table real quick. Something's wrong with the recorder. Okay, we should
how's
be good
that?
now.
Okay, there we
Just
go.
gotta
I'm
give it
back.
the old Fonzie treatment.
Since I've seen you guys last, I've been gone 3 weeks. And
This is by the way, this is like one of those big, long drum solos, right? Where
That's
the rest
right.
of the band
Stand
walks
back.
off the stage.
You guys can take a nap.
For a while.
You guys can leave the room while I just talk about myself.
One-man jazz band over here.
We'll be back in an hour and a half.
Okay. I've actually ridden almost 900 miles all outside
Good grief.
since in the last 3 weeks. So yeah,
Wow.
I've had a phenomenal 3 weeks. It has been a ton of fun. We started off by going through Utah, drove and spent a couple days in Salt Lake City and rode up Emigration Canyon and had some time with my daughter. And then we went down to St. George. We were in St. George because I was there to do a couple mountain bike races, and my wife was there for a soccer tournament. The mountain bike races
This
were
was senior citizen games, right?
So, yeah, it was called the World Senior Games.
Oh,
the
that's what it is.
Huntsman World Senior Games. And some of the events are really big. Like softball has 500 teams.
Wow.
Soccer had like 60 teams. Brandy's age group tournament had 16 different teams in it. She was playing in a 50 to 55 age group soccer tournament. And her full team of, 15 was one of 16 teams. So those were legit. The mountain biking racing, not legit.
Yeah. There's only so many 100-year-old mountain cyclists out there.
I don't know if you saw my Strava, but I did the mountain bike course, and there was one technical section where you there was like a 3-foot drop, like ledge drop, and I just ripped it at like 22 miles an hour because it was slightly downhill. It was a clean landing, And after my race, I went back to take pictures of people, and I caught this like 80-year-old, like rolling along, comes to the edge of it and is like, oh, bleep. And steps off his bike and kind of fumbles down the side and walks around. And, we're all like, hey, it's all good. No shame. You're out here. So anyway, yeah, there was some really old people there, which is pretty funny.
Like me.
So, yeah, you self-selected your own category. So you could do beginner, or you could do sport, or you could do expert. And
so you probably picked the beginner.
I picked
then,
beginner
yeah.
because F you guys.
Yeah.
You crush those noobs.
Brand new to that age group, right?
That's right. Hey, it's my first race there. I better start beginner. No, I signed up as expert, and it's only 5-year age groups, 50 to 55. So I'm only competing with the guys 50 to 55. And guess how many people were in my age category?
5.
3.
Are you the world champion?
No. Even worse, no.
Oh, no.
I was.
Oh, no.
So there was only 3 people, and I did not win. I was second.
Were you in the top 3?
I made the top
Podium.
That podium with big medals. I got a big silver medal for, actually. It was actually really fun racing because all the experts started together. So there was maybe 30 of us, and we all started together. And so there was a guy in my age group who was also from Utah. World Senior Games, whatever. It was 90% Utahns.
Yeah.
It was because this is not on anybody's radar. It's not with USAC. It's not with any of the mountain bike associations. They're not part of that at all. They just we're adding different sports. And so the course
They're
was
Twister. We'll do that sport.
Dude, no, let me. There were
curling's big.
Okay, so get this. There were 35 sports in this thing, and there were over 12,000 athletes who were doing these 35 sports.
So you're a decathlete. How many of them did you do?
You could have probably done a lot.
Shuffleboard.
There was actually
croquet.
Croquet's competitive.
There was shuffleboard. There was pickleball.
I bet pickleball was massive.
There was cowboy action shooting.
What?
That was my first guess.
There was.
I bet track and field was cool.
Track and field not at this event.
What?
Come on, because they have their own real world.
They do
games.
Yeah, they do.
So yeah.
Did they have any other cycling events besides mountain bike?
Yes.
Okay.
There was a whole road cycling. There was 4 different road cycling events, and those were a little more well attended than the mountain biking. Not sure why the mountain biking was so poorly attended.
They have motorized wheelchair
No.
It's sponsored by Lifeline.
I should not make fun of the World Senior Games. It's been going on for 30 years.
We'll do that for you.
Yes, please do that for me.
It's been going on for 40 years.
And some of the events are legit. The soccer tournament was legit. The softball tournament was legit. The volleyball tournament was legit.
Really?
The ping pong tournament was quite legit, actually.
Ping pong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but some of the events were not
mountain biking.
Question.
Mountain biking.
How much did it cost to register for any of these events?
It was not cheap.
$100?
So it was $125 to be able to register for an event, and then it was $45 for each of the events I registered.
But you
for.
got a medal. So.
I got 2 medals.
They
and
cleaned
a t-shirt.
up. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
So
And a
wait,
t-shirt.
2 medals for which 2?
There was a cross country mountain bike race and a mountain bike time trial.
Oh,
So that was only
how many people were in the time trial?
It was all the same people.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody who did the mountain bike race came back to do the time trial.
You got second?
And I got second again.
Did you win a beer glass? Oh wait, it's Utah.
It's Utah. No.
They
Whether
probably
you're first or middle or last, what's important is that you're you, and people can like you just
That's
the
right.
way you are.
So honestly though, the courses were brilliant. I loved them. It's the exact same course where there's a very big mountain bike race that happens in Utah in April, not in October. So
this is
same
your preview.
exact course.
Are you going to go back?
I'm not going to go back because April is when racing starts in Oregon.
Okay.
Oh, you mean will I go back to the World Senior Games? Unfortunately,
I'm in April, but yes. Now I want to know.
Now I want to know. I will probably go back because
your wife's going to go.
Because my wife's going to go.
She had fun?
She loved it.
That's
Her
awesome.
her whole team from Vancouver went together and competed
That's what
in
I
the
assumed.
event.
Yeah.
So she had a blast with all her friends. They got to do this outdoor tournament. The weather was fantastic while we were there. So
I would totally go do this.
I'm going back.
I'm
and
not
if I'm going
casting,
back, then
I'm not casting any sort of shame on this. I would totally go do this.
Yeah.
I think it's just fun, to have some sort of older group of people that are doing fun stuff. It's not.
gotta get him out a fake ID.
Yeah, how old do you have
You
to be?
have to be 50.
I'm pretty close.
You have to be 50.
I could get a fake ID.
We could take down a pretty solid 50s Masters
We
team.
could. If a bunch of us showed up.
How funny would that be?
Well, we could do the
road
races. There's a road race, a crit, a time trial, and a hill climb on the road.
Were those pretty legit, well attended?
They were about double what the mountain bike race, so not a ton.
It's hard to do this
still.
math. 6 people were
exactly 6 or
6 people
8.
on a road course.
Check out the times and the routes and the finishing and all
Yeah.
that other stuff to see kind of how you would have potentially stacked up.
I'd have been on the podium in 2 or 3 or 4 of those. Everything but the hill climb.
Why didn't you do them?
He's gonna go broke, Jake. This is expensive. Can't just be.
I can't just be throwing out $40. No. Anyway, because of timing, the road rides were the whole week before.
Oh, gotcha. That makes
Yeah,
sense. Yep.
so they were a
You
whole
just
week
weren't
before,
there,
and I wasn't gonna miss Trophy Cup to go.
Gotcha.
To
That makes sense.
Crit with 5 other people. So anyway, it ended up. The racing was a ton of fun because the guy that I was racing with, he was
cool.
good.
Yeah,
and we knew who each other were because of course I stalked him, and like before the race, I didn't even make it. I didn't even like hide it. I
You stalked him?
Yeah, I said, Kent, I checked you out. You and I are pretty similar. We have pretty similar times
Did you
on
say
this
I'm
course.
a little bit better than you?
I am also. I might pee on you when I go by you.
I'm an old man.
I'm an old man with bladder problems.
My diaper comes off quickly and easily. So just be aware.
So I just said, hey, we're going to battle. It's going to be fun. Let's make this fun because I look around and I think there's only 3 of us.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, this sounds great. And of course, in the group of 30, as soon as we hit the single track, me and him just left the whole field.
Yeah.
But we stayed together for like a whole lap. And then he watched me descend and went, oh, crap.
Yeah.
I'm not going to beat this guy on the descent. So we hit the first climb, and he just dropped me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he was good. He was really good.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, so. And the time trial was the same thing. He started 30 seconds behind me, and it was 3 laps of a 2-mile course. And I held him off for a whole 2 laps. For that 30-second time gap, I held him off for a whole 2 laps. And on that last one, he got to the climb and just left me. So I couldn't quite stay with him. So silver 2 times.
Nice. Still.
Silver.
Anyway.
You should have brought your medals to the podcast.
They're in the van. They're hanging in the van. I should have brought them in and clanked them around for you guys.
Next time. Missed opportunity.
It is a missed opportunity. Anyway, yeah. So there's too much that happened. We ended up staying in St. George for a while longer. My good buddy, Cam Nosler, the pilot friend who lives in St. George, he got married while we were there.
He's a lifelong bachelor, wasn't he?
He is 53, and this is his first marriage.
Wow.
Yes, he has been a lifelong bachelor. He's never met the right person. He finally did. They got married. It was a fantastic party. All my college buddies were there. So, of course, we just had a riot all weekend long. The wedding was at an airport, at a small private airport.
Yeah,
the St. George airport is not very big.
Yeah.
And Cam co-owns a hangar there. So they held the wedding and reception on the tarmac in a hangar.
That's pretty cool.
And the bride and groom flew in on separate planes, they buzzed the whole crowd on separate planes, and then they landed and came from opposite sides of the runway to walk down the aisle, get married, got on the plane, and flew away.
That's pretty cool.
It was really cool. So
That's fun.
we had a blast. So that was fun. I'm hanging out with all my college buddies. We're
Getting tore up from the floor up?
Yeah, getting tore up on ice cream. I don't think there was any alcohol. Oh, no, there was. There was something in the lemonade, which tasted terrible to me, so I switched to the lemonade because I didn't realize it was magic lemonade.
They got to be careful, man.
I didn't know what's magic lemonade, dude. Oh, is there vodka in this? Because that tastes like crack.
Yeah, this is the worst lemonade I've ever had.
So I switched. Anyway, so I had a great time. I rode every day while I was in St. George. The weather was perfect. From there, me and Brandy drove down to Tucson, where my friend Gary Allen lives, and I spent a week riding in Tucson. I put in 370 miles in 1 week, like 22 hours of riding in Tucson.
You rode with the shootout there.
I did the Tucson shootout on Saturday, which was pretty phenomenal. It's a pretty great group ride. The Savi shootout that we have here in Portland, it was named after the Tucson shootout. It's modeled after it. We want a weekly group ride that happens every week, that's race paced, that happens all year long. And that's what the Savi shootout is. Tucson shootout's been going on for like 40 years. Yeah. It's been going a long, long time. And yeah, there was a ton of people out there.
How many people showed up?
It's big, right?
There was about 100 riders.
Mm-hmm.
About 40 did the A shootout, and about 60 did the B shootout.
So you want to tell people what the difference is between the two?
The A shootout,
About 50 watts.
Yeah. So it's the same route. It's just like one group leaves before the other one?
Yeah, so they've changed the times recently. So if you're listening to this and you go, no, you got the times wrong, it's no, because they just changed the times. The A shootout leaves right at 7 a.m. and the B shootout or the old man shootout or the scoot out, as it's called, it leaves 5 minutes later.
Okay.
And so it's a 62 or 63 mile route that doesn't have a whole lot of climbing, and it's a race practice ride.
Mm-hmm.
It is a drop ride.
So what was your average speed on that then? What do you say?
Oh man.
On that section, on that 62 mile section, I think we averaged like 23.5 miles an hour.
Does it roll?
Yes.
So there's some little kickers, or is it
not
like,
just that? So like the first like 10 or 15 miles are like 1 or 2% up the whole way. So it's not. So you're not going 26 miles an hour. You're doing 21.
Yeah, with
at
some watts, but you
2%.
can still get sucked along in that too.
Yes,
So.
you do get sucked along at that.
How's the traffic?
Once you get out of Tucson, there's no traffic. It was great, and you rode to this little town called Sayurito, I believe. I'm saying that wrong.
Nailed it.
And there's traffic there and you stop at a gas station to refuel, and then you climb up this road called Helmet Peak,
and everyone there knows like Saturday there's this cycling group that comes through. Yeah,
because it's been happening for 40 years.
Right.
And then you come back into town. So there was a 11-mile section that we averaged like 34 miles an hour on.
Yeah.
Wow.
For 11 miles because it's 1 or 2% downhill, and there was 60 of us. It had whittled down to like 30 people at that point, but we're going full gas, 35 miles an hour, and the same 10 people are in the front rotating. I was in that trying to rotate and keep it up. But yeah, the ride was a blast. It was great. I did not feel in danger. It was pretty safe. People weren't screaming or yelling at each other. You know,
the temperament of the people there was pretty good.
Yeah.
No.
Which I didn't find to be the case in the rest of Tucson for the rest of the week, but that's a different story. But on that ride, it was awesome. I did not think that I would be able to hang with the B group because it has...
But there's no C group, right?
There is a C group.
Okay.
But
do they just
shrapnel that falls off the back?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
There is some shrapnel, and I think there was a C group that started 5 minutes later as well.
okay.
It's called the Super Old Man Shootout or something like that.
It's like the Salvi shootout here. It's like if you ride competitively, even if you're a predominantly mountain biker or gravel rider or whatever, it's great to have that reliable once a week dose of. I mean, it's a race, and it's good for your bike handling. It's good because you're socializing with like-minded people, and it's great for your fitness. That one burst, that once a week burst of intensity, love it. And Salvi shootout's the same way,
right? Yes, same thing. And during the winter, you show up on that A group, you're going to have 5, 6, 10 pro riders doing it. You're going to have Keegan Swenson out there, and Russell Finsterwald, and Tobin Ortenblad, and Tyler Stites, and Jimmy Riccatello. And, I mean, you're going to have all these like Tucson people that spend the winter in Tucson. They're going to show up on the shootout because it's great race practice for them as well, and they get the intensity with being able and remembering how to race practice and sitting on wheels and when to go and so. Awesome. Yeah, I freaking loved it. I loved it way more than I thought I would because I was fully expecting to get dropped. I did not get dropped. I actually made a couple moves. I actually tried to get away in a break at one point. I was actually mixing up in the sprint, even though I didn't know where the sprints were at.
Oh, they're going.
It's like, people are going. It's stepping up, and that person is jumping and going full gas. I'm like, I'm getting on that
Is
wheel.
it like a city stop or stop ahead or city signs or
there
something?
was 4 different sprint points. 1, 2. I think there were 4. Maybe there was 3. No, there was 4 different sprint points.
Okay.
So I didn't know there was 4 different sprint points. You just kind of I was just following wheels, But and it was a stop ahead sign at one, and it was a city limit sign at one, and another stop ahead sign, and then right before a right turn. So, it was really cool. I really loved it. So, I spent the rest of that week riding all over Tucson. I rode halfway up Mount Lemmon one day. I was there to ride with my friend Gary Allen.
I feel like you were riding with a group up Mount Lemmon.
Yeah.
Or was it just random people?
No, I was on group rides every day.
Nice.
Because there's different group rides in Tucson every day. You just have to know somebody to say, oh, the Tucson Masters are riding on, Tuesday, this route. Mm-hmm. And the Tucson Dogs, I think it's called, are ride up Lemon on Thursday morning. So you have to be at this this place at this time, and you can ride with them. They're not exclusive rides. So I was riding with groups every day. So and that was because Gary Allen, who used to live here in Vancouver and now lives in Tucson, he knows all these people and was like, let's go do this. I went down there to ride with Gary, but we were mountain biking on the second day we were there, and he crashed and hurt his shoulder.
Is he okay? Oh, is it bad?
He needs surgery on his shoulder, so his riding was done.
Broken collarbone?
He didn't break his collarbone. He tore his rotator cuff.
Ouch. That's a crappy surgery.
Yeah. So, it was a bit of a bummer. So, I felt guilty for like 5 days. So I finally said, I can't keep doing this to you and rubbing this right in your face, because we were staying at Gary's house. We were parking in Gary's driveway. Yeah. The whole week we were there. So. Anyway, then I got sick and felt terrible for a couple days and drove home in like a day and a half.
Wow.
All the way from Arizona. And so now I'm here, and it sucks balls.
It's so rainy here. If people are listening to the podcast from somewhere else, it is really rainy here.
We had a good run.
We had a great run.
First half of October was great.
Yeah, I've got to say the whole month as a whole is great.
Yeah, the first 2 or 3 weeks, great. Then all of a sudden this last week, it's like, let's make up for lost time.
And it was 95 every day in Tucson. It was a little too hot.
Yeah.
It was actually a problem, but not the 50 degrees it is here. Oh my gosh, I'm freezing to death.
Ouch.
Anyway, that's it. Sorry, I talked too much. Jake.
Yes, sir.
Backpedal for us.
Backpedal. Since we haven't been live together, I think the really notable thing that I did was went to Pennsylvania, went to Penn State to see my daughter, which was a lot of fun. We were there for quite a few days and did and saw a lot of things, got to spend some time with her. The two cool things that I did were we did a tour of Beaver Stadium. I don't know if you guys are familiar, and I've probably talked about this on the podcast before, but Beaver Stadium is where the Nittany Lions play their football games, and we got to do a full stadium tour of that, kind of see all the behind the scenes and the locker rooms and press rooms and all the fun stuff. So that was kind of cool. Then you go into the stadium that seats over 106,000 people.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Oh my gosh.
It is the 4th largest stadium in the world. So it's kind of neat to see something like that. So that was really neat. And then the other cool thing was my wife and I, the last day that we were there, got up super early and went and did a sunrise hike up Mount Nittany, which was kind of fun. So
cool.
It's like a 5-ish mile hike and it was beautiful. Had a good time. It was the fall colors there. I don't know if you've ever been to Pennsylvania before, but there's many, many rolling hills and trees everywhere you look. And it's kind of neat to see everything turn that autumn orange, yellow color. And it was beautiful.
Leaves are popping.
They were.
As they say.
So other than that, been just riding on the trainer, just kind of plugging away, trying to kind of build my volume up a little bit. My hip was bugging me a little bit, so I kind of was okay with taking a little bit of time off while we were there. And I came back and it's been a little bit tight, but I'm just trying to stretch it out and been tweaking with the kicker bike's position just to kind of get some alleviation. And I think I found a new sweet spot that's going to enable me to start getting some longer rides, because I have been trying to log slightly longer rides. So I want to start building my tolerance on the trainer up to about easily like an hour and a half every day, and then try and get up in that 2 hour range, and then try and do at least one long ride on there a week if I'm not riding outside. So
nice.
Yep.
I think that's a good point, really, how important it is. We can talk about this some other time, but to get a good fit, especially on the trainer, because you basically sat in that same position. It's unlike being out on the road, you just sit there. And if I know a couple of people whose knees are all tweaked out. And
your knees, your low back, your hips, your neck, all of those things.
Super easy. So,
and a lot of times, like, you're not watching like looking forward and spotting the road like you would when you're riding outside. A lot of times you're watching a TV or something like that, so you're in a slightly different position, so you have to be able to accommodate for that. And the kicker bike works fantastic. And the kicker bike that I have, not like the kicker bike shift that doesn't have the elevation thing on it. This one does, so I can actually like adjust my position like I'm climbing, so it kind of changes the position up a little bit. And then if I'm looking up a little bit higher than I normally would, I can actually adjust the pitch of the bike just to kind of put me in my position, but just like raise me up so that I'm not changing my neck angle. That definitely helps a lot. So yeah, just doing a lot of that fun stuff.
Nice.
Nothing else fun to report. So let's do this.
Oh, is Champ around anywhere? Is he here?
Champ is here.
In studio.
Champ is here in studio. Welcome to the world's worst sportscaster.
What's up, Champ?
What has happened in the world of cycling in the last 3 weeks? I guess the thing that I'd like to talk about is the Lifetime Grand Prix finally wrapped up its last race. It had Big Sugar, which is a 100-mile gravel race in Bentonville, Arkansas. And big surprise, the men's race was won by Alexei Vermeulen.
Huh.
And second was Colby Simmons, I believe. Quinn Simmons' little brother.
Really?
Yes.
He's kind of making a name for himself this year.
He's done a couple gravel races.
Yeah.
He's on Visma Lisa Bike's team, on their development team, and he's got to be pretty young. I think he's under 20. Maybe he's not, but...
Close to that, yeah.
Yeah. So, Keegan Swenson ended up 4th or 5th on the day or something like that, but he'd already had the whole series wrapped up, and so he won the big prize. I think the winner got $30,000 or something like that. So that was actually really exciting racing. It was super dusty out there and not muddy, tons of flat tires. The women's race was won by Sophia Villafane. I think I just said her name wrong. But it was won by Sophia, who is Keegan's fiance.
Okay.
And so she won. She had already had the series wrapped up as well. So Melissa Rollins from Salt Lake City, who won Leadville this year, took second at this race. So she has really come on strong. So it was pretty exciting. Next year's they're changing races for next year's. They're bringing in a couple new races and getting rid of a couple of races.
Oh,
for
what are
next
they
year.
getting rid of?
They're doing the Sea Otter Classic, but instead of doing the mountain bike race, they're doing a gravel race at Sea Otter.
Okay.
So that's different. And they're still doing Unbound. They're still doing Leadville. They're getting rid of the Rad race, and they are adding Little Sugar, which is a mountain bike race in Bentonville.
Okay.
So there will be Little Sugar, which will be the week before Big Sugar. So all those Lifetime Grand Prix athletes will be there for a full week or for 2 full weeks in Bentonville to do both the mountain bike race and the gravel race, which is kind of exciting.
Will that turn into kind of like a festival week-ish kind of thing?
It already is. Most of those athletes were there and did the mountain bike race anyway because it was fun and exciting and riding mountain bikes in Bentonville. It was actually won by Christopher Blevins this year in a sprint with Matt Beers and with Keegan Swenson, and he out-sprinted all. Like, there was a 4-person straight-up sprint in a mountain bike race at the end of, I don't know how long Little Sugar is. I want to say it's 70 miles or something like that. But, so they're changing it up next year. So that should be interesting. What else happened in cycling news? The Tour de France route was released. It is all within France this year. They are not starting outside of France. There will be a 33-kilometer individual time trial and a mountain individual time trial.
Okay.
They're adding... So big climbs this year are like the Haut-de-Cam and what else?
Mont Ventoux.
Mont Ventoux.
Yeah, they missed that one.
And a couple of
Alpe d'Huez?
no Alpe d'Huez.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Mont Ventoux.
I don't think they've done Mont Ventoux since
been a year or two.
Since Froome
ran up it.
Yeah.
No, they must have done it since then.
I don't think they have. I think he's
really?
right. Yeah.
Wow. That's a long time ago.
So there's some talk that the route they tried to Pogača proof it. They tried to like make it not so such a runaway because Pogacar just ran away with the race this last year.
How do you Pogacar-proof a
not
course?
as
How do you
many
do that?
big
Long
climbs.
yeah.
Not as many big, long climbs. But
he can
You just
be
have
punchy,
21 flat sprint stages.
well, it
If you
starts
don't-
with like 7 flat stages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you don't have long, big climbs, then you're also Jonas Vingegaard proofing it. If
Correct.
that's- Did I? The
Vingegaard
verb Jonas Vingegaard proof is
That's
not.
right.
That's not
It's
proper
not
English.
working.
That was not proper English. But there's no way that.
Then if you have 7
Fat stages.
fast flat stages,
For fat
you could probably Roglic proof it as well. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
If there's descending, you could probably.
Yeah, so it should still be interesting and entertaining. Is that gonna Pogacar proof it? I
Nope.
doubt it because you generally over 3 weeks the best rider wins, and if he's the best rider again,
Just think
it should
about
be interesting.
any monument or one day race. I mean, he
Yeah.
can run away with anything.
Yeah.
So
You could probably set something up for like a Wout van Aert if you like made the course a certain way.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Or MVP or something. Like there's probably not MVP, but probably Wout or someone.
Yeah.
Like you could
Well,
probably set it
MVP
up.
could do it too, but yeah, I think that would be fun to watch because
It
you
would
know
be
that
fun to watch.
Tade and Jonas are still going to want to throw their hat
Do
in the
you
ring with
realize
those,
how
so-
pissed people would be if they were like, this course is set up for Wout? Like it's like tons of gravel sections
Yeah.
and lots of like, I don't know. They go through a field. I don't know. Whatever they would do to set it up for him.
I'm glad you brought that up. There was
Thank you.
quite a bit of Wout news in the last
The squirrel.
weeks. Yes. So the first thing was he was revealed as the masked singer. So he did like the European version of the
no.
Masked Singer, where they have this celebrity that sings in a full furry outfit.
I thought I read something about Wout singing. I'm like, oh, that's just stupid. I didn't even
Nope.
read the article. I just
It was him.
It was him.
It was
huh?
because there was speculation that it was him because he did like a Strava ride and his title was like just a squirrel emoji. So he he dropped like a couple hints.
Yeah.
But he actually did the Masked Singer. And
Did you hear it?
I could never hear the clips. He wasn't bad.
Really?
Yeah. So it was just pretty cool that he just
Pulled that
stepped
up.
up and just did this thing because he's the freaking celebrity
Sure.
in Belgium. So kind of cool that he did that. Also, he is planning on racing cyclocross.
And he's going to be back before Vanderpool.
Yeah, and Vanderpool is also going to be racing cyclocross. They're
Yeah.
both eventually going to do
boy.
some races.
It'll be a 2-person race again.
Oh wait, what about that whole Easter bit thing?
Oh my gosh, that was an
yeah.
ass hat move right there. Did you see that, Matt?
Okay,
No,
so
what happened?
so Ellie Easterbit, who is the Belgian national champion, he's
He's the guy that comes in third place when
Yeah.
Wout and
yes, he's actually
Matthew are
very
there.
very good. He wins all the early races. They were at Berengen, I believe. He got taken
Tangled-
out.
Yeah, tangled with somebody.
He tangled with another guy. Camp, I think was his name. So they got tangled up and both went over a like barrier, like over like the
tape,
the
yeah.
tape on the side, and it was like Camp's fault because he kind of wedged into him, and as they were getting out, Easterbeat walked over on top of Camp's bike and just rammed his foot through his rear spokes. Like on purpose. It was clearly
stomped on his bike.
It was
yeah.
just stomped the wheel.
There was a little pushing in there too, wasn't there?
No, it's because as soon as he stomped his wheel, Camp grabbed his jersey. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, stay here. And so you couldn't tell, but Easterbeat was trying to pull away, and Camp was holding on to his jersey, and he finally, let him go. And
he got relegated. Didn't he get suspended too?
he got suspended for three races.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess there's some bad blood between those two, not just that and Easterbeat completely apologized afterwards, said, I completely lost my head. The fine and the relegation and it's all fair.
Yeah.
But it also came out that Camp had called him an
unsavory name.
effing dwarf because Easterbeat's a little guy.
Yeah.
And so he had screamed at him, you effing dwarf or something like that. And it wasn't the first time that they had said and Easterbeat is sensitive about his stature.
Sure, yeah.
And so it all kind of went from there. But Easterbeat has served a sentence. He's back. He won a race this last week. And so the cyclocross has some drama in it in Belgium this year. So it should be interesting. Anyway. Okay, that's enough. Champ out. Champ is
Good job,
spoken.
Champ.
Thanks, Champ's out.
All right. We're not doing too bad here. I've got a laundry list of things since it's been a minute and you guys have been gone doing all of your different things. I got a few things and we're just going to throw them out there and you guys get to pick what we talk about this week. I've got 5 things. Let's go through them real quick and you guys can pick what we got. The first one is that in the cycling world, there are too many SKUs. There are too many color choices. There are too many models from the same brand that are just too damn similar. That's part one. Let's discuss if that's a good thing, bad thing, or if you're indifferent. The second thing is the downsides of cycling, the dark, bad side of cycling. The third thing would be, we talked about this a little bit before the show, but Shimano has come out with their new 12-speed stuff, about 2.5, 3 years ago, something like that. It hasn't been too long. They have since discontinued making Ultegra and Dura-Ace 11-speed shifters. And we know this because we're trying to help somebody find one right now, and we can't find one anywhere, and they're just not available anymore. They're not making them. Therefore, he's kind of forced to either go buy one on eBay for God knows how much money, or to upgrade to a 12-speed system. So there's that. And then I wanted to see here on number 4 what everybody's thoughts were on TrainingPeaks purchasing IndieVelo. That's an interesting little thing that happened there. And then the last one that I have is, what is an accessory in the cycling world, or something that currently exists? What's something that's either missing or needs to be like upgraded, fixed, or made better? So that was kind of
EPO pouch.
EPO pouch.
Got to make those clean. Got to make them tight. Do not want that stuff showing.
Yeah. Of all of those, which one would you guys like to talk about? We can talk about multiples too. It just depends on the time. Which one would you like to start with? Tick.
Do TrainingPeaks.
TrainingPeaks it is. Let's jump into that one.
Okay.
Matt, you said it. We're just going to go with it. So TrainingPeaks, it just came out, and
yes, purchased IndieVelo.
IndieVelo, which is basically
which
an indoor.
just happened last
past
week.
Yeah.
Or they made the announcement last week at least.
I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. No,
yeah,
Tuesday.
So very recent.
Yeah, just a couple days ago. It was purchased, and it's now a part of the TrainingPeaks premium package.
I wonder how much the purchase price was. They didn't disclose that, did they?
I have no clue. Ian, you're intimately familiar with TrainingPeaks. You use that for your coaching business, and there's some cool stuff that you like about that. Do you like this being integrated into the premium version of your TrainingPeaks?
Yeah,
program?
I mean, it makes for a more valuable product for me, because I offer premium TrainingPeaks membership as part of what I do, and so if that includes your actual virtual riding platform, that adds value to my product. So that's good. I've never actually used that. What is it called again?
IndieVelo.
IndieVelo
is exactly the problem, right?
Yeah.
Like,
correct.
Have you guys used IndieVelo?
No, but I'm sure there's
right? Like,
it turned a lot of people's heads this week.
It's good. Getting news about the product is great because maybe people will check it out. But guess what?
It's been free.
Is this going to be the next RGT?
It's been free.
Is going to be the next RGT, though, is the question.
Well, RGT even had a step up. It's just, it's definitely the next RGT as far as like big company purchases this training platform so that they have a training platform. Then they slap a price tag on it, and you have the social network problem with all of this stuff where, yeah, we have all these great services, all this great stuff going on, but if no one's there,
True.
no one wants to go do it.
Well, you have to think about it from a couple different angles. I mean, there's quite a few people that are getting tired of all of the different monthly charges, just paying for all of the different things. And if you're already using TrainingPeaks, hey, you've just got a nice little addition that you can use that's integrated into the program, and you don't have to go pay the 20-something bucks a month for Zwift.
And I don't think it'll make a huge difference to Zwift. I mean, there's only, I would say a small proportion of Zwift users also use TrainingPeaks.
Yeah.
And those that are on TrainingPeaks use Zwift to do interval sessions, and not so much the group rides and the
So your TrainingPeaks stuff still will sync with Zwift, and you can do all of your workouts on there.
They did say that in their announcements, that it's not going to affect the compatibility with other apps such as Zwift. But it is good. It makes sense to have an integrated approach. I mean, right now it's not too difficult to just connect Zwift and TrainingPeaks up. So when I set a workout in the TrainingPeaks calendar for an athlete, it just shows up and there's Zwift menu at the start. And they just
workout.
Get on the bike and do it. And when they save that ride, is saved into the TrainingPeaks calendar as well, so I can go in and take a look at it and all that stuff. So it's reasonably integrated already, but making that smoother, that makes a lot of sense to me. I like that.
Gotcha. Well, a few questions on that, unless you have something else to say. My first one was, is this a smart purchase by TrainingPeaks? Is this something that they needed to make their whole platform
Depends
better?
on the price, which we don't know. But
Yeah. Did the price of TrainingPeaks, their premium program, change? Isn't it what is like $150 bucks a year or something like that?
I don't think it changes the price.
Is that what the cost is, Lance? Do you have that pulled up by chance?
It is $129 a year.
For a
full price.
Okay. And just word to the wise, because we're coming up on Black Friday.
Yeah, good point.
Hold off, because they always put out a
It's
deal.
like $80 on Black Friday.
You save a fair amount of money. So now you're going to get like just say $80 to $100 with the discounted price, whatever it's going to be this year. And now you get a full virtual training program with it. You know, that's pretty good value. I mean,
even better, sign up with a coach and get a TrainingPeaks included in your subscription there. TrainingPeaks.
Okay.
Premium.
I can't even find a paid for price.
For TrainingPeaks or
for IndieVelo.
No, it's built into their premium. Like you have to be.
No, what I'm saying,
premium is like $85 for 6 months, I think.
No, what
IndieVelo,
TrainingPeaks
what TrainingPeaks
paid
for IndieVelo.
For IndieVelo. That
gotcha.
hasn't been
So
released.
yeah, I bet you they got it on a pretty good deal.
Okay, well,
because
I did find one pretty interesting thing.
Yes.
How many subscribers do you think that Zwift has?
Oh,
I don't know this answer, but I'm just asking.
I think it's something like 5 or 6 million, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's something like that too. That sounds right. How many people have signed up for IndieVelo
Since TrainingPeaks purchased it?
beforehand?
20,000.
Yeah.
40,000.
40,000. Okay.
Yeah, that's
That's
actually
it.
a little bit better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But that's better than RGT was.
But here's the thing.
I'd go on, ride
When
there,
it's-
all the different lands, ride with like 5 other people. It's like,
When
that's it.
But when it's free and it's a decent product, you're gonna get you're gonna get people show up to do it because you're looking for free Zwift. Like
But
you're
it
googling free
was-
Zwift alternative.
Yeah.
Right.
It would never remain free, though. I mean, how could
Yes. It's been free its entire life up until this point.
With the notion that they're probably going to sell it to somebody, right?
So
there's
or
that
at
exit
some
strategy.
point it becomes big enough that they can charge a subscription because it can't remain free, is what he's saying. How
Here's
does a
the
company
kicker.
make money?
The company is a single guy that said this needs to happen, and he did it. And he's been doing it for like a ton of time. So he got a paycheck for, let's just say $1 million, because it's a nice round number. So he comes on board and starts working with TrainingPeaks, and this is still his job, but he probably got a nice little
but he got
bonus
a
of some
chunk.
sort, right? Yeah. So there are plenty of free software items out there that do very well. Open source items are the ones to kind of consider, and that are typically taken care of, or there's like a primary developer that takes care of things. But this in its entirety was just one guy. So
Okay, so here's my question.
yeah.
RGT was a great platform, and it was run
Yeah, it's
by
not bad.
Wahoo, which is also a great company,
Was
a big
purchased by
company.
Wahoo, right?
Right. That didn't work.
No.
It failed. Is that where this is headed?
Yes.
Okay. That was quick, Matt.
It just is. It just is. You're taking a free product and you're wrapping it around and being like, now you have to pay for it, and you don't have a ton of users.
Okay, they have not announced.
No, but
TrainingPeaks has not said that you have to pay for IndieVelo.
Okay,
but
correct. But you're saying like you have to have a premium account to use it.
Yeah.
Which is what's going to happen, right? So like, then you're saying like of the 40,000 people, let's just say half
Already
less
have
than,
that.
have the maybe less than half. Let's say it's probably like 5% of the group that has the premium account. Are you going to be like, oh God, to use this thing that it was free and I was only using it because it was free? Am I going to pay for a premium TrainingPeaks account? Maybe if it's a Black Friday deal, but
Well, you got that side of the coin, but you forgot the other side of the coin of people saying, well, you know what? I've been thinking about wanting to do a training program, and I'm going to
TrainingPeaks
get
is awesome.
it's kind of like buy one, get one kind of a situation. Like you buy the training program, and then all of a sudden you've got this platform that you can go ride on. Then great.
So if enough number of people see that and do that, then TrainingPeaks immediately makes back the money that they used to purchase this product. I don't know how much they used to purchase this game, but like it's
all of this is contingent on how much they paid. If they paid sub $1 million for it, then that was a steal. If you ask me, if they paid like $5 or $10 million, like RGT, what was that? Like 18 or 20 million that Wahoo paid for
really?
it.
That's still cheap.
It's still cheap, but
for them,
they just flushed all that down the toilet. I mean, it's just a program that's sitting on a shelf somewhere on some sort of thumb drive or something.
Sure
I don't know.
there's a thumb drive.
Anyway,
Someone lost
you
the
know,
thumb drive. Don't lose the thumb drive.
Whether or not it was made good business sense is neither here nor there for us cyclists. I mean, it enhances TrainingPeaks product. So
Sure, it does.
If you're a TrainingPeaks user, then you've just got a
Even
bonus.
that, I'm like, it kind of does, but not much
Right.
because you're saying like, hey, this product that was free, you can now use.
So here's a question for you then.
Way to go.
Yeah. Here's a question for you though. Like, how can they make it better? What can they do to IndieVelo to like up the ante in terms of what it provides?
That's
and how
the great
can
thing is
they make it be
now-
something more like, hey, you know what? I think I want to ride on IndieVelo as opposed to Zwift. I'm already hearing that the physics are better.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is where it's like now they have some money backing the project, and so it's hard to say if having money backing the project will speed development. I'm not 100% sure that it will, but they can expand the team. They can have people work on better graphics. They can have more group ride things. They can add features to make it more competitive with Zwift. So
what about
there's
Zwift?
value.
Don't you guys like that you would like to see there?
I think Zwift is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think they could do better
integrated
with
communication.
Yeah, that's we've said about that.
Sound.
We've said that for years. It's
Communication.
crazy that there's like Discord is the thing that everyone still
Yes.
uses. That's crazy
The
to me.
physics need to be changed too. I mean, that's just
Physics-
obnoxious. If you're going to do something that's going to be for true cyclists,
but
make it more realistic.
But their main goal is not attracting real cyclists at this point. It's attracting people in spin classes.
But what the hell's the difference? I mean,
because
like,
the numbers are
Yeah,
massive when you compare spin
I
class
shouldn't
people.
go ride with a
to-
bunch of Cat 4 or 5, Fred style guys on a
Don't
ride
make fun of Freds. We're-
and be averaging 28 miles an hour. I mean, that just shouldn't happen.
True.
When there's rollers. I mean, it's not hard to just dial it back and just make it a little bit more true to life.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, I'm sure all of you guys have bumped into these people that spend a lot of time riding on there. Like, oh yeah, I averaged 26 miles an hour on all my rides. I'm like, dude, if you went and rode with us outside and you did 26 miles an hour, I'd be signing you up to go over to France and start racing with some pros over there.
You'd be scared when you got over 20.
I mean, there is that, but I find it hard to. I would not leave Zwift for another platform. I don't believe it. I think Zwift is a great product.
It's
I
pretty
mean,
damn
it's
solid,
pretty
yeah.
damn good. And if you compare it to what indoor training used to be like pre-Zwift,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's night and day. So
Freaking torture.
yeah,
Zwift just had their 10-year anniversary. I want to say like 2 weeks ago. 10 years.
that's right.
10 years since they've been like publicly accepting people to.
I remember first getting started on. I remember going over to your house and getting one of those little Amp Plus dongles so I
Yeah.
could plug it in and make my speed sensors work and get it all kind of synced
It's
up.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's been that long.
It's been a minute, yeah. How about that compared to like my Whoosh? My Whoosh is got tons and tons of financial backing. Has
They
that
have the government behind
They
them,
have-
right?
well,
my
UAE
Whoosh
Saudi
has
government.
UAE,
Yeah.
the
Money.
Saudi government
Yeah.
Or
behind
it's
them.
a
So it
UAE.
doesn't
That makes more
matter if they
sense.
make money or not because it's
They're
freaking trillionaires, behind that.
has anybody used it?
No.
What has happened in the last year?
It is emblazoned on Pogacar's butt,
Butt,
so
yeah.
we all know
Is that what
what my Whoosh is because it's like right.
Check out my Whoosh.
It's right there.
I just think it's one of those things where the UAE or whichever government is this backing or whichever prince is backing this project will get tired of it, which is such a common situation in cycling where it's like some super rich person wants to own a team, they get tired of it, then they,
Ineos Grenadiers.
yeah,
Excuse
it's
me,
like
sorry.
but like same thing, right? Where it's like this software project is gonna be awesome until they get tired of doing it,
Yeah.
and then it's just gonna be like
But
USB
they have
drive that got lost somewhere.
but they have so much backing. They may as well back a product that might take off, so they're giving it a shot with my Whoosh.
Have you guys ever used it?
No, I haven't.
This is the same thing. It's like the social network problem. It's like, how many companies have tried to make a Facebook clone and you're like, well, people aren't showing up. We have this great thing. It's like, well, the people aren't there.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the first person wins situation, right? Where it's like, once Facebook gets the bigger network effect, then it's good to go unless they make a huge mistake. But it seems like,
So what
not
did
that
Facebook do that caused MySpace to take a nosedive?
Facebook
Because they
was-
weren't first to the game.
No,
I
they
mean,
weren't. MySpace was. They had a little bit more of. I think they hit the target age group in an ideal time,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like this is exclusive to these specific schools,
Yeah.
and then it just blew up from there, and people wanted to be a part of that. Whereas MySpace was always free, and it was got to be junky.
Yeah.
And I think Facebook is now suffering from that same problem where it's like that same college group is now the old people.
Yep.
No one wants to be on Facebook anymore at this point because it's like, well, that's where your grandparents go, right?
Yep.
Like, so now it's not even Instagram. Instagram's like, that was the next thing, and then TikTok, right? So it's like but the social network has to be there. There has to have that like influx of people to make it somewhere where you're interested in going and spending time.
Sure.
And I don't think any of these indoor cycling platforms have it except for Zwift. Maybe like if you're considering Peloton or something like that, which I don't really consider in the same ballpark, but I don't know.
Yeah. That's a different crowd.
It is, but that's who Zwift is going after, clearly, right?
Zwift, I just looked it up. The last time Zwift talked about subscribers, they said they had roughly 1 million subscribers.
That was a while ago.
It was May of this year.
You're kidding me.
No.
I thought they broke the million mark like a couple of years ago.
That's the
Interesting
keyword
how
being
small
roughly.
all of this is.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, when
Right.
you compare it to Peloton, I mean, these are just.
Peloton probably has several million.
Let's Google that.
Okay.
I mean, think about that too, because that's a much bigger ticket to like purchase a Peloton. I mean, let's be honest. COVID did Peloton a little bit of a favor there.
Yeah, and then once that was over, it
yeah.
did a reverse favor to them.
Yeah.
Right?
6.4 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
On Peloton.
And that's selling that big piece of equipment too, which Zwift has kind of wisely figured out that like, oh, we can do that.
Sort of, yeah.
They have their
Well, they
Zwift hub and
jumped
they have
into
their
bed with Wahoo
big-
too, and they're doing a lot of
that
stuff
was
there.
weird.
So, yeah, that was
super weird.
Yeah. Will you guys try out IndieVelo?
Sure, I would love to.
Will you try out my whoosh?
Sure.
Yeah.
I should do all of these. I've always wanted to make a video comparing all of these platforms,
Yep.
but
How about you, Ian?
I'll try it. I can't see me leaving Swift.
yeah.
I got too much invested in it.
16 million.
What, you got all your drops
My
or something?
levels and my drop points.
See, they sucked you in. Ian.
I haven't spent any of them.
Gamified.
But I got
I
millions
know.
in there.
I don't even know my drop points. I don't know what those are.
21 million
Yeah.
drops or something like that now.
I have 16.3 million.
What, are you just going to give that up? No.
Yeah. Lance, will you try out any of those platforms?
If there's a group ride that we're all going to be doing together, I'd try it out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Zwift is fine for me.
You know, I do like the fact that these free platforms just lower the barrier of entry, and that just makes it accessible for everybody.
That's huge.
And
Yeah.
I like that. I don't want to
Which
force
they're-
people to pay 20-something bucks a month.
But IndieVelo's losing that.
They are, but
That
there's
huge,
my whoosh.
huge.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
But that was part of what I was going to say is that IndieVelo was an option for free, but not anymore.
It's hard to do free unless it's like an open source platform, I think. I mean, they try to do advertising in game, and that's just not going to work. It's just they need to figure out a way to monetize where they're, so you can do some group rides, the platform can still make money, and then you can really invite anyone to come check this thing out. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
It can only be free if there's ads or if there's some billionaire paying for it.
Yeah.
Or
if you're the product, then it can be free.
Yeah.
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 So interesting. Anything else to say about this one? Goodbye, bad bye, indifferent.
Depends on the price. I mean, if they got it for $1 million, then, and they also got a really like killer developer out of it, then I don't know.
It's good acquisition.
Maybe.
What do you think?
I'd like to see Strava integrated with TrainingPeaks. That'd be interesting.
You know, for a while there though, and it just kind of went dark. They were talking about Zwift purchasing not TrainingPeaks, but
Trainer Road.
Trainer Road. Did that?
Oh yeah.
Just like kind of fade to black.
Oh, didn't I have a bet with someone?
It's probably me.
David Goodman,
and
I think.
You owe me a beer.
No,
I don't want it.
I think I owe you a beer. I owe you a beer anytime. I think David Goodman and I have a bet. So,
do we think that that's ever going to happen?
No.
No.
I mean, I think they were probably in talks quietly and didn't work out.
Gotcha. Cool. Enough said on
was
that.
good. That was good discussion.
Text right now. You owe me beer, you son of a.
We got time for one more. What else would you guys
Let's
like to
talk
talk
about the diversity of bike products you can buy.
Okay.
The multi-SKU question.
Sure. So the gripe there, and I actually ran across some people complaining about this on Reddit, and it's basically saying like if you go to buy in the example that was given there was Pirelli, and we're we're all pretty familiar with Pirelli. If you want one of their P0 race tires, there's like 4 or 5 different options that you can choose from. And it's just like, why do I need that many options? And
Because some people want the tan sidewall.
and that's not even the point there. Like you've got your regular race, you've got your SL version, you've got your 4-season version, you got the new one that just came out. I think it's RS. I mean, they're all like within the same. They're all in the same ballpark. They are just ever so slightly different.
They must have figured out, just like grocery manufacturers or
Like if I
grocery
change this.
manufacturers, food manufacturers.
I love
If you have
manufactured
a more variety of products overall, you'll sell more.
You think so?
I
Yeah.
guess.
You know, and for that particular example, for the Pirelli stuff, I've probably, like, of the 5 tires I've ridden on 3, maybe 4 of them, there's not a big difference between them. Now, I'm sure that if you got down into the nitty gritty and you started doing some testing, you're going to find some watt resistance and some rolling resistance differences. You're going to find some tires that are going to maybe be ever so slightly faster, but you are leaving yourself more susceptible to punctures. And, you know, there's just ever so slightly different things. And you got to kind of figure out, like, what works best for you. And do we need all of these different things? I don't know.
I think
we don't need any of it, but I don't have a problem having a choice. I can make those decisions. My issue comes with when they mess with the standards. So it's great to have a choice, but now, like bottom brackets or wheels, when you now have multiple standards, and so you have a compatibility issue. That's choices I don't think we do need, and I think
I agree with that.
Bad for us.
Standards are a good thing.
Yeah.
That's what people need to like. Everyone needs
Yeah,
to
they should
come
have-
together, hold hands. Standards are a good thing.
Yeah, and then you can just create your own bit for that particular thing. And like, you don't need to make it proprietary to your brand, because I mean, sure you can, but I'm like, for me, in a lot of cases, I'm just going to walk away from that because I don't want to be sucked into your little ecosystem and be
Yeah.
at the mercy of like whatever you have to sell and however you set your price point. I don't want to do that.
But it still has an effect on you. I mean, even like in a race, you used to be able to just pick a
Neutral wheel.
out of the neutral wheel support car. And
Sure.
now it's got to have the right size disc rotor. It's got to have the right size cassette on it. The axle length is different.
That's a good point.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into play there. And the width of the rims, that's all going to be...
And all in the name of giving us choice. I mean, that's
So is too much choice a bad thing?
In that case.
I think I agree with standards are very important. However, I don't have a problem with a large variety of choices. I think it's not overwhelming to me when you're looking at tires, for example. You chose tires or whatever, but they could go extreme and have 1,000 choices within a brand. And, it's a matter of education and figuring out like where you want to lie on that spectrum, right? Yeah. I think Conti has the gator skins, right, for your winter riding, and then you've got some other stuff that might be faster for racing. So
yeah, but even
they
in the
just
gator skin, you've got gator skin hard shell, gator skin 4-season, gator skin black edition. You get like a multitude of choices.
But here's the thing: like we look around your house, and it's like, okay, well, this paint is cream white 124.
Sure.
In the other room, you've got beige 2795, and it's like that's the extreme, right? Where it's like you couldn't just pick one color,
sure, because
the colors have to match, all these things like that. But like you have all of these different choices, and you can really dial in colors. You can mix colors and get things exactly how you want them for your house.
Sure,
I wouldn't have a problem with that if it was like you go to some sort of store and you're like, hey, like how much tire protection do you want? How thick rubber do you want on a scale of 1 to 10, and you built your own tire? Like that would be super cool. It would be the extreme of customization, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with customizations as long as they follow the standards that make things interchangeable, right? Because that's the key. Having things interchangeable is super convenient for all the manufacturers to be able to do things for the consumer.
I think they've figured out a way to exploit that one thing about people's psychology. When you're buying stuff, you think, okay, this is what I need in a product. I'm going to buy this action cam, this GoPro or whatever, and I've heard you can get a really good one for $500. And then you go on the website and there's one slightly better and one slightly better than that, and you think, oh, what's an extra $50? I get this extra, these handful of extra features. So it's a way of upselling to you.
People always
the
go for
time.
like the middle one, right? Like they look at your choices and
Well,
maybe.
There's a few examples of things trending in the other direction. Just recently, like with Garmin, we kind of talked about this at the beginning of the show, like with their watches, the number of SKUs that they have for, say, like the Phoenix series or just all of the watches across the board have shrunk down a little bit.
now
They
you're hitting me in the spot where I'm like, oh no, now I agree with you. Yes, Garmin SKUs are a nightmare, right? Where they like people don't know what to get and they're so confused, and Garmin literally makes watches where you're like, this is the same watch as this one. Their one has, like just, and people are just like, I don't know what to get.
Yeah.
So
they have shrunk things down because they wanted to simplify it. And
that, for them, that's got to be more valuable. Like they got
Sure.
to be looking at the numbers and being like, we're manufacturing all these things and it's costing us.
Sure.
Costing us development time, costing us warehouse space. You're keeping all of this stuff that maybe is not selling, but like
not for nothing, that's hard on the seller too. I mean,
It
for
is.
like a small shop like us, like if they've got like a particular,
you want to carry everything.
you would try
but
and carry as
can't.
many of as you can, but like if you go all in, it might be good for Garmin because you're buying everything, but you can't buy everything, so you have to kind of pick and choose. So that's going to leave them holding the bag on certain things. And
Right.
you're always trying to like figure out, all right, which one's going to be the sweet spot, which is going to be the home run that we need to like kind of lean into a little bit. And do I want to buy a bunch of these other ones that maybe aren't, and you're going to be stuck sitting on them and you're not going to be able to turn them over.
Right.
That just kind of sucks. So you're going to have to play that game. And I'm sure that's ultimately going to be hard on them. And I don't know, it could be hard on the customer too.
It makes sense as a manufacturer to streamline your process and offer less products.
You compare them to like Apple, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like, this is the extreme where they have, well, I guess they have some options. They have like a super cheap one, then they have like their normal stuff, and then they have the Apple Watch Ultra. So they have like 3 SKUs.
Yeah.
And then they have a couple different sizes of their main product. But
Yeah.
that's like 3 or 4 compared to Garmin's, whatever they are, 300 or
Yeah.
whatever. So it's like, and Apple's clearly selling more watches than Garmin.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is bike manufacturers are starting to kind of shrink the number of SKUs there too. If you thought about it or think about it for a while, I mean, you could buy like a bike, like a model of a particular brand, and like there's all the different tiers and all of the different colors. And like if you were to go buy a size run of like all of them, you just can't do it in a lot of situations.
Just size alone, right? Now you're looking at small, medium, large, extra large, maybe.
Yeah.
I remember when you used to buy steel bike frames, they came in 1 centimeter increments or 2 centimeter increments, I think. But there will be more sizes. There used to be.
Yeah. And so maybe they've shrunk that down a little bit, but where they've kind of gone away from that is like you've got all of these different build specs, you've got all of these different colorways, you've got the different modular types of carbon fiber that they use for different frames, and then they've got the alloy versions of it, and it's too much.
Yeah.
You know, and I get it. It's fun to have choices, but it's like, where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
That's really where you come in, right? You're the
drawer,
store. You're drawing the line where it's like, this is what we'll carry, and we're not going to bother with all this other stuff.
It's a problem, actually, because, I mean, we have to carry like 50 different kinds of tires or more. We probably have more SKUs than just 50 tires, because not just road tires, but mountain bike tires, gravel tires, cyclocross tires, and there's 15 different kinds of just decent cyclocross tires. Well, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and you got to try and vet all of them and make sure that you're not bringing in a brand that's going to be giving crappy products. And I mean, I kind of call it like you have to be a master curator. You have to be able to go in there and put
it's
stuff
kind of
together.
a cool thing for a shop to do.
Yeah. So, and like, we don't like bringing stuff into the lab that we haven't personally been able to test out and see like, all right, is this something that I would purchase? Is this something that I would use? And is this brand manufacturer, whoever it might be, reputable, and they're going to stand behind the product? I mean, we have to go through a lot of hoops to bring something in and say, this is going to stay here. We're going to keep it on the shelves and put it on the website.
Well, and you end up leaning towards the things that you like yourselves anyway.
Yeah.
Because...
Which is okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are coming in and that's what they want to know. Like, what do you think? Like, what tire should I use?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just whatever you guys suggest.
Yep. Given the state of everything that's happened in the economy and the cycling world, and post COVID and all that other fun stuff. During COVID, you could have had a bazillion SKUs and you're just going to sell everything. And now it's changed dramatically. The last year and a half, it's been difficult on the whole cycling industry. That's why we've lost a ton of manufacturers. We've lost, brands and shops and all these other things that have gone out of business that you're like, no way would they ever go out of business. Nope, they're gone. So their response to that is like, let's simplify the process. Let's try and make this a little bit easier for everybody, and let's work together. And the thing that they're still kind of suffering on, in my opinion, is the prices are still a little bit too high. They need to figure out a way to bring their costs down a little bit. But
agreed.
I don't know. Which kind of floats into the other question. I think that we can just kind of like dovetail this in there. Is like, all right, well, if you're going to start decreasing the number of SKUs, if you're having a hard time as a company, and you're going to do that at the cost of your current customers who are needing to get replacement pieces, the whole Shimano debacle, like, we're talking about a group set like the Ultegra and the Dura-Ace 11-speed shifters that were just the mainstay, 3 years ago?
They're still probably the most popular. Well, I'm just
The
totally
Di2,
guessing, right?
the Di2, not the mechanical, the
Yeah.
Di2. They've discontinued that. They are not making those any longer. You cannot buy new from Shimano the Ultegra or the Dura-Ace 11-speed Di2 shifters. They just do not make them anymore.
Yeah.
So anything that you have left out there on the market, like, no joke, we're trying to track these down for somebody. Either they don't have them, and if you do run across one that somebody's trying to sell that's quote unquote new or maybe even lightly used, they're selling that at a premium right now. And that just kind of sucks, because the person that has an accident, that's why we're trying to replace this, needs to replace a shifter because it was damaged. Now they're looking at like, all right, well, I can put a GRX 11-speed shifter on there with my other Dura-Ace. Like I could potentially do that, but that's not what I want to do, because that's going to look all cattywampus. The only other option you have is go track one down and pay a premium from it and hope that there's something out there and trust that this is going to be like from a reputable person, not some knockoff or something that's janky, or upgrade to 12-speed. Well, that's not just replacing a shifter. Granted, the shifters are already really expensive as it is, but now you're going from spending like $400 or $500 on a shifter to like thousands of dollars to replace your whole group set.
I mean, I think it's not just a phenomenon with the bike industry. If you have it's more extreme with the bike industry. Like if something's obsolete within two years and the manufacturer no longer supports those obsolete archive products, then that's bad. But it's the same, if you have a car, if you hang on to it long enough, obviously
it's hard to get
they
parts.
don't make it anymore, and it's harder and harder to get parts.
Now, go ahead.
My question is, okay, so, I mean, really a manufacturer should support something for like a decade, right?
100%.
Or make a rule, like whatever it is. Like
rule.
say 10 years is what we do.
Yeah,
that seems
we're going to do it 10 years. So does this really show the health of Shimano?
They're struggling.
Yeah.
Shimano pisses me off. I'm so pissed at this company. Like they make great products. I have to admit. I think they probably make some of the best like components out there. But good God, man, the whole like not supporting Hammerhead Crew with their Di2 stuff. I'm just like, that is a crappy decision.
Right.
Like who decided that? Like, okay, we're only going to have products that are like produced for 3 years.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like draw a line in the sand. Like Lance said, like make a 10-year promise or whatever it is. Like you come out with this great new product, whatever, like maybe it's the 12-speed. Like, hey, are you gonna cover this for the next 10 years or what? Give us a number so that we know what to expect. Because I'm gonna take my business somewhere else. Yeah. If someone else is gonna be like, yeah, we'll cover this for 10 years.
Well, they should license out
the
production of those obsolete parts to third-party companies.
Yeah. There's a simple solution here. Just make the new stuff backward compatible.
Yes.
And then you're selling your new stuff, but it still works with the old stuff. And yes, the E-tubes, the little wires that plug everything in, are slightly different from the 11-speed to the 12-speed generation. But the 12-speed is...
sell a freaking adapter.
The 12-speed is quote-unquote wireless. Now, that's a whole nother scuttlebutt in its own. But if it's wireless, and then maybe you can just get a junction box that you can plug into the old system that can take that wireless signal and then communicate that to the rest of the drivetrain. Maybe there's some sort of firmware that you can say, hey, I'm actually using the 11-speed, so it knows to, like, hey, this is what we're working with. And then all of a sudden everything works. That'd be great. The scuttlebutt is like, people have said that the wireless part of the Shimano shifting, I haven't truly used it myself. I mean, we've tuned it, we've test ridden all that other stuff, but the battery doesn't last for crap. And so people are actually having to go and hardwire them again, so the battery itself isn't draining faster. And therefore you've gone from this half wireless system to like fully wired again. And like, all right, you guys missed the mark.
It's patently obvious what's going on, really, isn't it? That like they are actively discouraging people from hanging on to their products for too long.
Yeah.
Like, they need to keep their products turning over. There's only a finite market there.
Yeah.
So
and are you going to go invest in $2,500 to $4,500 into a group set that's going to be obsolete in 3 years? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. That's kind of a painful thing. I just really wish that wasn't the case.
Come on, Shimano.
Come on,
do better.
Shimano.
Do better. All right. Anything else on any of that stuff?
That's it.
Too many SKUs. Shimano's being buttholes.
Good topic. Come on, Shimano.
All right, let's jump into one last thing. Matt, would you like to go first? Per usual.
Butthole is my one last thing.
One last thing. Koros Pace Pro video just went live this morning.
Yay!
Bright and early.
Good watch, bad watch, indifferent. Got to watch to find out, or what?
No, no, I don't.
Are you wearing that right now? You're wearing 3 or 4 watches right now.
Yeah, I got 24 watches on, but I'm not wearing that one. Yeah, it's good. It's quite good. And you guys, are we carrying Koros at the lab now?
We have.
Talks.
We're connected with them. We can order them at any point in time. I just have not brought them in. The primary reason why I wanted to do that was to bring in their bike computer, but I was less than thrilled with it. I think that it's maybe in time they could come out with something. It's got some really cool things about it, but I just didn't think it was for us right now.
Borrow mine and take it out. There's some really cool things about that bike computer. I'm actually pretty pumped about that thing. They just need to keep working on it. It's almost like it's half baked when it came out. But the Pace Pro is not that. Does not have that same problem. It is fully baked. It is excellent. It is. It's
you
a good
wear that
recommendation.
over any of your Garmin watches?
No, not necessarily, but it's also more affordable than.
Okay.
So this is the thing where it's like when you have like the Garmin Phoenix on, right? Like that's an awesome watch. It's got a flashlight. It's got all this stuff. It's fantastic. This is not intended to compete with that. It's a lighter weight watch at a better price point, $350. And it's good. It's
like
just kind of
265 competitor kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And the 265 is 400 or 450. And
no flashlight?
No flashlight.
I'm out.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the thing. I was having a discussion with someone online and they were like, oh, yeah, well, you can use the screen as a flashlight. No, it's like having the flashlight is it's a very nice little feature. It's one of those things that you don't know you need it until you have it. And then you're like,
oh my gosh, I had to use, I shouldn't tell the story, but I'm gonna, because full disclosure. We were camping in the middle of nowhere like 3 days ago.
You probably need a flashlight more than anyone.
And it was pitch dark. There was nobody out there. I woke up at midnight with diarrhea. Okay?
Oh,
no. Did you eat something bad?
So I think I got sick from, I don't know what I got sick from, but so I stumble out of the van. I walk to some random bush. I can't see anything because the moon isn't up. And I have an old Epix that does not have a real flashlight on it. So I'm trying I'm trying to use the screen so I can see where to shoot my load.
Oh my gosh. That has been Diarrhea Talk.
This has been Cha-Cha Talk.
It was not good. It was an unpleasant experience.
Dang it, man. I'm sorry.
This is what you wanted. Diarrhea story from me. I had to do it twice in the middle of the night. And then the second time, I'm like, the stupid flashlight doesn't work on this watch. I had to grab a real flashlight.
Smokey, what you doing over there in the bushes?
Dude, that's tough.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Wow. All right.
We've had some tough camping. With kids, we've had some tough camping situations.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good.
Stand and deliver.
Right? Because they're eating all kinds of crap and stuff when you go out camping with buddies. Oh.
Is that it, Matt?
That's my one. I think that's good enough for one last thing. We've already had diarrhea talk, so let's move on.
Can you reenact that with Lance and have that being one of your
and then we'll
upcoming
try
videos?
It with a flashlight and without a flashlight.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we'll see which one's better.
We can film this with a good position.
Here's why you need a flashlight. If you're having diarrhea outside in a bush, it comes in real handy.
Hopefully to reach for that cactus patty.
I was in the desert, man.
I know. That's scary.
It was scary.
Ian, how are you going to follow that up?
I was just wondering that. I don't know. I got nothing. One last thing. What can I talk about?
Tell us about your coaching programs.
Yeah.
How does that integrate with the new TrainingPeaks? What's the cost?
The cost of the training program is $195.
And do I get a TrainingPeaks program?
You get a included TrainingPeaks premium program.
So
I get integrated.
I get IndieVelo if I go sign up with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sweet.
There's kind of places are limited. I am taking on new clients, but there's going to be a limit.
That's great. Yeah.
I'm not going to keep on taking people. So if you are thinking about
how many spots do you have left? Maybe 5.
Yeah, about that.
Okay.
Quality, not quantity.
Well, yeah. I mean, you get to a certain point, and then you can't offer the product anymore. It's all bespoke, tailored training, and if you have too many clients, then you can't offer that. So
yeah, I'm not
there's a
some
ceiling.
shill sitting over here trying to like pump stuff up, and Ian's greasing me on the backside with some cash. There's no money exchanged here. Everything's on the up and up. But I do talk to a lot of people that work with you, and they speak extremely highly about you. They enjoy the program, and they're seeing good
first-rate
results.
people, that's why, yeah.
Good folks. So
Yeah.
good job.
Thanks.
Good job. Hey, Cha-Cha.
Yeah.
What you got? You got one last Cha-Cha for us?
You got one last thing?
You don't want to hear any more stories from me.
One last thing. The diarrhea was the one last thing.
We do have a cyclocross race. There are still cyclocross races here in the Northwest.
Two more, right?
There's two more here in the Portland area. This Sunday is McMinimum's Edgefield Cyclocross Crusade race.
We know the
in
general
Troutdale.
manager of that.
Do you really?
No, yeah.
Yeah, so
Mel, she's fantastic. She's done a lot of rides with us too. So
there will be a cyclocross race there this Sunday.
There may be mud.
Yes, I'm not sure if I'm showing up or not. I really should.
Do you
but
have those bar points in the bag now?
I do.
For sure.
I have the bar points in the bag. Yep.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Okay.
So I should win.
I never doubted you, even at the
Thank
beginning.
you.
Never. There was
Thank
never
you.
a doubt in my mind.
So yeah, I should win both my age group and the Masters men bar.
you should make sure if you do go seek out Mel. As a matter of fact, the way
She'll
that
probably be out
I
there.
remembered about this is that she when it was first posted by Obro that race was coming up at McMiniman's, she went into the comments section and she tagged the Dialed Cycling team, just like, hey, make sure you guys come say hi, kind of a thing. So, and she's like, you don't get much cooler than her. She's super, super cool, and she's the general manager over there, and she oversees all things, and that's like their big, head.
Their big location.
Yeah,
It's a great venue.
It's a great venue.
Yeah,
marquee
really is.
location. Yeah, so
Yeah, they have lots of concerts there. They have 3 different bars there. They're going to have a beer garden for the race, and the race is going to go through the beer garden, I do believe.
It's a great property. It's big too. So
yeah, so it should be interesting. We haven't had a cyclocross race there in like 11 years or something like that. So
cool.
We're back. Will I be there? I don't know. If it's really cold.
Only show up and find out. We'll link.
Show up and
You got
find
spoiled
out.
being in Tucson all this time.
I know,
I
dude.
know,
I came
yeah.
home and like
I don't want to bike.
kick in the gonads.
In the bollocks.
Oh,
Jake, one last thing.
my one last thing. My final parts are arriving for my bike, so I'm going to start building a new bike this week.
Oh, that'll be fun.
So that might encourage me to go ride outside, because I think I looked at Strava, and the last time I rode outside was September 4th, and today is Halloween. So it's been almost
I've biked outside since you've biked outside. That's
almost
not
2
good.
months. It's not good. I've been super busy and gone and doing all sorts of things, and it just is what it is. But I've still been getting on the trainer, so that part's good. My fitness is not what it was when I was coming out of the summer.
Perfect. Call me. I'll go put the hurt on you.
But I can keep up with you for probably about an hour and go hard and maybe even put the hurt to you. But I've been doing training rides and hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes, and staying in that zone too, and just kind of building that up. So
Yeah.
that's kind of good. But I'm kind of excited about this. I'm going to wait for a nice sunny day to take it out on its maiden voyage to see what that bike's all about. But I will definitely be reporting back. And
You're gonna go Washougal Dyke Trail? Is that the plan for the
it's a road bike.
It's a road bike.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is.
It is. Yeah. I do have an Envy Mog frame that's been sitting in the shop
Yes.
for how long have we had those now? 9 months, 10 months.
Something like that.
That's the bike I was thinking you were talking about.
Yeah, I do have all the parts and pieces for that. We've just been so busy and haven't had time to build it up, and we're just about getting there. So that's going to get built up as well. I don't know if that's going to go get built up and get put on the website or whatnot, because there's a couple other little things that are kind of looming out there that I might want to jump on as well. Some other things from a few other bike brands that are wanting me to ride their bikes. So
Is there a new BMC or Urs? Is there like I think I got an email today
the
that was
second generation Urs came out 3 months ago. So
Okay.
I don't know. There's just a couple minor upgrades. That's more of like their adventure do it all kind of bike. The Cayuse is the more race inspired.
Yeah.
The Urs is a fantastic bike. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
but it's got the garage door compartment on it now. It's geometry slightly changed on it, and
garage
it's-
door compartment.
So on the down tube
Yeah.
where your bottle cage is at, you've got a
Yeah.
door that comes off with the bottle cage, and then you've got the storage inside the down tube itself, which is pretty slick.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of bike brands that are doing that, including the Envy Mog.
The Envy Mog. I
This-
keep 3 tubes, 3
In your
CO2s, and and some emergency toilet paper.
Emergency toilet paper and
Yeah.
my weed.
And they come with some like really nice bags to kind of store everything in, so it's not just rattling and bouncing around inside
Yeah.
the frame. So it's kind of neat. So yeah, kind of fun. I'm kind of excited. I'm hoping to have that done in the next week or so. So stay
Nice.
tuned. Post some pictures.
Cool.
Maybe do a video. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll be there for you, Jake.
It's video time.
All right, gents. Happy Halloween. You guys
That's
going
right.
out?
We
Do
didn't say
anything?
about Halloween.
Yeah. I'm gonna try.
Handing out candy.
Steal your kids' candy. You can fuel all your long rides with your
There you
kids'
go.
candy for the next month and a
Yeah,
half.
and we'll try and get this out today. So if you hear this, if you know where I live, swing by because I'll be handing out the full size candy.
Ooh,
bars.
I've got full size candy bars also.
Do you? Yeah.
Yep.
Got lots of them, and
They will not leave.
I keep track of all the people that come. So we usually get about 40 to 50 kids.
This year,
but the rain. Oh,
It's gonna be
no.
bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's going
we'll
to be
see.
cold and
I'm
rainy.
stuck with
We'll
a
see.
whole bunch of full size candy bars at our house. I'll just bring them to every podcast.
All right, let's get out of here. We will be back next week with another one of these. And until then, bye for now.